The following video is in no way meant to belittle or attack other people's thoughts. Unless otherwise specified, the works discussed are graded on their own quality rather than being judged by the creator's activities outside of the project. Viewer discretion is advised. For the short time that I read comics when I was little, my pull list mainly consisted of X-Men, Teen Titans, and the occasional Batman title. I didn't really know anything about Wonder Woman, and the only thing I really knew about her was her relationship to other heroes, such as Wonder Girl, Bruce Wayne, etc., etc., etc. The release of 2017's Wonder Woman, however, really coincided with my reintroduction into the comic world as an adult. So as I started jumping back into the medium and grabbing copies and really learning to love the medium, I saw this film of this character I knew nothing about. And from the moment I saw it, I loved her. I started gravitating towards her and what she could possibly represent. So watching the sequel, I had two main questions going into it. The first being, is this movie any good? And can it possibly make me feel the same way the first film did? This is Jacob Knight, and this is a review of Wonder Woman 1984. For this particular review, I don't feel like I'm particularly qualified to talk about the real world ramifications the film's themes may have, as well as many of the other actors and people involved and what politics are involved. And I would hate to speak on things that I'm not well versed in. So I'm just going to mainly stick to character and story stuff. Mild spoilers ahead, by the way. So the answer to my first question, is this film any good? I mean, mostly. It's very much the type of movie that gets better as it goes along. What I mean when I say that is that from the beginning, where they're on Themyscira and Diana's as a child, to the mall action scene, to even the introduction of Barbara and Minerva, all of these feel tonally separated towards me. And there's nothing wrong with having a variation in tone and style within one work, but it still needs to fall under an all-consuming umbrella and flow well, that is the story. And those first couple of scenes and moments just felt really off to me. It felt like somebody was like, that'd be a cool idea, and they could have just lined it up without realizing how to properly connect it. It was just felt very jagged. It switched from serious, such as Diana's competition and how impactful that could be, to the mall scene where winks and dialogue was cringingly laughable, to Barbara and Minerva's introduction, which was just so stereotypical and so on the nose that it was jarring. Plus some sets that seemed more like sets than places people would actually live and breathe and operate in. I only started to enjoy the film about 36 minutes in, where we just really dive into the character of Maxwell Lord when he has this conversation with Simon Stagg and what his motivation is, his assertion for power and legacy and what that means to him and to his son. So as soon as that hit me, that's the moment where I really started to like the film. And from then on, although I feel there are some offbeats and some scenes that may have lasted a little too long, I felt like from that point on, structurally, the film flowed much better for me. The overall story was it was fine. It was a make-a-wish story. You wish what you regret for. You don't want to pay the price. And then the hero and the villain both have to learn a lesson. And, well, not all the villains, but yeah, it kind of lacked action, which I felt was kind of forgivable because this wasn't really an action movie. It was sort of an adventure mystery. Not really mystery. It was more of an adventure movie where Diana kind of has to learn to let go of something so she can move forward in the past. And frankly, even some of the action scenes, there were cool moments. There was a lot of fun little choreography and interesting things going on, but at the end of the day, they were just mostly forgettable. If there was any action scene that was memorable, it was the first fight between Barbara Ann and Wonder Woman, which was cool, but it was a lot of it just didn't have lasting impact. I mean, but from aside from the action, I really liked a lot of the character stuff, such as Diana just being this huge simp for her high school boyfriend and just couldn't let him go, and then finally she has to learn to finally grow as a person. She has to let that past go and accept the truth and reality of the situation, which was a fun thing for her to do. You know, the first movie is really about love and compassion, and this one's about accepting the truth and growing from that. So that was fun. Maxwell Lord and Cheetah were fun villains, although I felt that Maxwell Lord was much better realized in the film than Cheetah. Him and his whole complex about wishing to get things and power and legacy, as I said earlier, and his relationship with his son. And I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's really great. It's really fun, and it's believable. Barbara Ann's own complex and her thing about social order and power and how she's been treated and people like her, and it worked, but it just fell so hard that it almost wasn't believable. Like, you see her be a little bit helpful, a little bit nice and dorky in the beginning, and then suddenly there is a gradual shift in her personality as she grows, but I just felt they could have invested that maybe by making some changes, like her already being Diana's friend, so you have a bit more history of them being friends. So when they do finally have this big rift and fight, it hits harder, it has more impact, because she is then a longtime friend rather than a coworker she just met a couple days ago, you know? And, oh, Jacob, you haven't talked about Steve Trevor yet. Yeah, because Steve Trevor's just kind of there. In the first movie, he had background, he had agency, he was a really fun and interesting character, and in this one, he's more so just to be here as a foil for Diana. Which is an interesting thing, because you can make the argument of Diana, why is this man always impacting her, and why is he always pushing her towards development? But at the same time, he's only good because you remember who he was in the last film, and he's really just there for Diana. So it's kind of, they're using each other. And as much as I love Chris Pine, I hope he doesn't come back. Let Diana do her own thing next movie. But all his scenes, fun. It was actual comedy. I really enjoyed lots of things that he did, and he was helpful. So power to him. Just talking more about Steve, this just leads to just my favorite moment in the film, which is when she finally learns to let him go. And spoiler warning, she learns to fly, which is just, it was so cool and so satisfying after not seeing her fly in so many different movies and in her own movie. It was just a beautiful moment where her learning to let go and grow from that and accept the truth. She literally let go, and that coincided with her learning to fly, because she was finally weightless because she let the baggage of the past behind. And that was such a cool moment, and it was so freeing. And if I had to compare it to anything, I would compare it to the No Man Land scene in the first film, because that one was also very powerful, and it was kind of, can I do this? Can I do this? I can do this. I can do this. And it was just, the inspiration I got there was the same one I got in the flying. So that was cool. I really appreciated how they set that up, and how that flying matched the story beat of Diana learning to let go. So that was fantastic. Favorite moment, and perhaps you can discuss this in the comments, and perhaps it's maybe the peak of the film. Like, everything after it is good and interesting, but it was kind of the peak of the film for me when she finally flies. So overall, I guess I did enjoy this film. There are a couple of weird moments, such as that man didn't ask to have Steve Trevor in his body, and the more I think about it, the more troubling it is. Why didn't they just give him his own body? Why didn't we find out what happened to Barbara and Max after the whole conflict? I feel like somebody should have probably gone to jail. They could have easily had the same things happen in America, so why go to the Middle East? That's just opening a bag of snakes. By the wings at the beginning, if you're going to do that for the whole movie. It's a little weird that Barbara's attacking her harasser is painted as a bad thing. I get what they were doing, but it still feels kind of weird. There should really be more evidence of Diana's distance, since apparently she plays vigilante all the time. You probably have some answers for my weird moments, but just the moment I saw that, I was like, huh, why is that? And there's a couple more, but I feel like they're just more nitpicky. Why do this? That was a weird choice, etc., etc. So I don't feel like I need to really mention them. Also, just have Nixon, you cowards. And back to my second question, is this film, did it make me feel the same way I felt in the first one? And the question is answered, sad enough, no, it didn't. The first film really had this, well, I feel like it kind of patterned out near the end. It just had more of a central message of love and hope and understanding. And while the was kind of the idea of the truth and its crux as a story in the story just worked well, it just didn't resonate with me as much as the love and compassion one did. And I think that's fine. I mean, if it really goes for you and you're like, yeah, like the truth, da, 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 then that's great for you. I'm proud of you. But it just didn't hit me. So yeah, that was my review of Wonder Woman 1984. I feel weird about giving things ratings, but I mean, 6 out of 10, I guess. 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. Would watch it again. I'd probably skip maybe the first 40, 30 minutes and maybe skip out the end a little bit, but there's a good chunk in there I would say is fun, and yeah, watch it. Why not? And I feel like there's more I could say, but this is where I leave you guys. Let me know what you thought of my own analysis of the film in the comments down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Did you think it was utter trash, or did you think it's the best the DCU has ever had to offer? Just jump in the comments and let's just talk about it. I'm Jacob Knight, and remember, do not like and do not subscribe, but please comment. I'll check you later. So jump on HBO Max, or if somebody owes you a gift for Christmas or the holidays, just say, hey, you want to get me a membership for a month? It's only $14, and there you go. There's your Christmas gift. You're welcome.